obviously disappointed that we didn't get to win this past week. But a number of positives came out of this game. When you look at our young players, right, that stepped up, just the overall effort of the defense, the overall looking to make plays, looking to right the ship for the most part, and trending in the right direction for the past 2 games. Again, there's no more victories, right, for us as coaches and as players, but we are excited with the go forward of a lot of our guys. So, any questions?
As the biggest theme to why you guys have been playing better football when you look at the totality of the last 2 games versus the 4? Is there a common theme to why you guys have, in your opinion, have played so much better defensively?
I would say this, and this is win or lose. And sometimes this word can be overblown, all right, because of how people utilize it. But this game is always about adjusting. All right, it doesn't matter, what situation that you're in. And there are some adjustments that we have made. All right, and plus I think the players have been challenged. They understand that. We as coaches, we've been challenged. We understand that. And every week we go out, man, we got to put our best foot forward. So listen, we have a good group of guys. And listen, they go out and they want to win every game. And early in the season, things wouldn't happen the way we want to happen. But like I said, this last 2 games, man, the guys are really they've been really showing what they can do, and we got to continue to improve in those situations.
Dan was explaining a little bit, defensively, you guys are going back to some of the things you did last year. Can you just explain maybe what the changes that you made, what you were hoping to see, or why you made those, I guess, what you saw to make those changes, and then what wasn't there, I guess, to go back to?
Here are some of the things that we want to make sure we get just from our off-season study. Defensively, you want to make sure you create TFLs in early down situations. And the way you do that, for the most part, is you got to have some D-line movement, some attack situations. Actually, that happened. When you look at it in totality. But man, I would tell you this. I mean, this game is all about knocking people back, setting edges, building the wall, and everybody else converging to the ball. And at the end of the day, that's who we are as a defense. That's who I am as a coordinator. Even though you try to adjust and try to do some of these different things, and when they do work, man, you always got to get back to the roots of who you are, right? And those are some of the things that we've done over the past couple of weeks.
Smaller, good.
Well, I was just going to say, how similar then is what you're doing now to what you did last year? And had you not made those changes, would you be here? Would this have been what we saw?
I can't say that because there are some positives in some of the things that we did do. Again, we had a number of TFLs early in the season. And then we had some unfortunate things happen as far as our coverage and all that, just individual with players, and we've talked about that before. So I would say as far as a go forward, just some of the things that we're doing. Is it similar to last year? Somewhat, right? But also just some new things what we're doing because we have new players and putting those guys in position to be successful. Like with Pascal, there are certain things that we want to do with him that we couldn't do with some of our bigs last year. So, and we got to continue to look at that. We got to continue to look, what are we going to do with Aiden? What are we going to do with Alex? What are we going to do with Rodrigo? But all those guys, and try to put those guys in the right spots.
One of those smaller tweaks was getting Hutch more in a 2-point stance. he thrived at it in college, and Dan said you maybe had a vision for him and had to adjust that vision to what the player liked and what the player does best. Yeah. Why is he more effective in that, and then why did you maybe try to change something about him what was working coming into the league?
You know what? When you watch Aiden in college, he played a number of positions, to be honest with you. He was inside, which we put him in certain times to play inside. He was on the edge. He was down to 3-point. And he was also on a 2-point. And just me having a conversation with him, just doing the bye week and me just being here doing the bye week, man, as a coach, the one thing you have to do is, man, listen to the player. And that's something that I try to pride myself in doing that. And Aiden would never just say what he wants to do, but he would say, Coach, I think I can be a pretty successful doing these things. And I'm like, man, listen, I get it. I've been there before, and let's have these conversations. Let's figure out what we can do to help you. So the one thing it allows them to do is play with more vision. All right, you look at some guys, they never want to stand up. They always want to be in the 3-point, and that's okay, but that helps them. So as I continue to have these conversations with our players and continue to figure out what they do best and to them, right, and then what I see how they operate and what they do best, we're going to continue to do those things. And again, I can credit that to some of the changes that's happened on defense.
Maybe it's better for him, but just as you understand it from him, like that vision, how does that help him? What is he seeing? How does that help him get to the court?
Well, there has to be an overall vision of the defense, and each player knows that, man, we just can't change one thing for you and just let you go out there and do whatever. It has to fit in what we're doing. Even with some of the coverage stuff that we're doing, I mean, we're able to let Amani play more visual, something that he's really, really good at. And you have to make sure you tweak it, but tweak it in the right way to where it doesn't affect the whole defense. So then allow Jeff to be in more man situations, what he's really good at. So there's not too many defense you can have zone and man. But there are some. And you have to make sure that everybody's on the same page when you do things like that. So when we talk about the overall vision, just coming out of the bye week, I mean, those are things that takes time. And that's why I was here most of the time. But it was good. It was good to get those guys in those situations.
Sorry, maybe I didn't say that right. What is Aiden's vision by standing up? What does he see that helps him? Is he the quarterback? Is he able to see over the line?
Able to see the quarterback, able to see certain run plays. And I will say this about this player. He's a very instinctive player. And listen, sometimes guys they feel it. And when they feel it, man, go make the play. And that's who he is. And we're giving him that freedom to do that. And that showed up. I mean, one of the rushes that he had, he made the spin move when he should have been containing, but he spun, actually made sure he got outside and still made a play on the quarterback. And he did it again against the run. So he knows what his job is, right? So, but he just have to make sure that when you go make these plays, you better finish them, because I'm going to be pissed if you don't.
You mentioned Jeff. He seems to be playing with a ton of confidence right now.
Yeah.
Coming off arguably his best football game, which is physical, 15 tackles. Do you see the same thing in terms of his confidence level right now?
Well, first off, I never want a corner to have 15 tackles. That's just me. But he is a physical player. And when you have his mindset, those things can happen. But I'll tell you what, that player did. He showed up, man. And he's tough as nails. He loves the one-on-one matchup. Is he always going to win him? No. I mean, that's just the life of a corner. But he's trending in the right direction for us. And each week, you just see his confidence just getting, just growing higher and higher. And we have to keep him that way. And we have to make sure we do the things that allows him to be in that zone that he's in, so we continue to move forward for us. Say it again.
When you look at Miami's offense with Tua, likes to get the ball out quickly, two
Yeah.
explosive wide receivers. What's going to be one or two keys for you guys when you have a quarterback that likes to get the ball out that quickly?
The first thing is don't let the ball go over our head. I mean, knowing those two receivers, I think they're both 4-2 runners or whatnot. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the catch and run that creates explosive plays for those guys. We have to be able to rally and create population to the ball. And we have to tackle really, really well, something that I do think we've improved on also. Some of the coverage changes that we're doing on defense is going to allow us to do that. I'm not going to tell you what they are, so don't ask. But it's going to allow us to do that. And then also, man, this running back who we've won against before, he's a pretty good player, right? Has a lot of speed. So I think Mike McDaniel does a good job of utilizing the guys that he have.
What did you learn covering the fastest receivers in the league during your time that maybe is a lesson you can impart on Jeff and Amani to just handle that kind of outside speed?
Well, there's a couple of things you can do. First off, back up. That's just the truth. And secondly, get your hands on them. Don't let them utilize what they have. You always want to put yourself in an advantageous situation. And our guys are bigger, lengthier guys. So that's something that we'll give a chance to do on those guys, to be able to get our hands on them, just disrupt them. The one thing that you can't do is just allow receivers into the teeth of your defense. And when you do that, usually bad things happen. So the more we can disrupt these guys, and I'm not just talking about our corners, just any of our interior our defenders in the pass game, to get our hands on those guys. That's something that I've learned way back in the day when I was with Coach Belichick. Man, you cannot let guys into the teeth of your defense. As much as you can disrupt them, better pass defense you can have. So that's something that we'll try to do.
Only a couple games, last one playing time so far, but what does Kirby Joseph bring to the defense that maybe you didn't have there before?
I would say this, and it has showed up the past couple of weeks, is him getting his hands on the ball. Now, he hasn't caught him, which he did a good job in college of doing that. And I'll tell you what, it's going to break through for that player at some point. And when he gets one, it's going to be like a domino effect. And I can guarantee you it's going to be a couple of them that get behind that. So he's have to break through. All right, but the thing that he's doing a really good job also is tackling. I mean, you saw the calls fumble that he had. He's a more physical player than we saw in college. And that's what we need of our safeties. And he's just starting to understand the game of football. You know, it's totally different than it is in college. So it took him some time, and it's still going to take him some time to totally just grasp how the NFL operates. So, but I'm pleased, very pleased with that player.